Hi and welcome. This is Trader Genius and I'm Jess and I'm joined here with one of our newest members, Lloyd. How's it going? Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am currently a road driver for FedEx, and I go every night. I go out every night, and I hook up to doubles, being two trailers. I take them out somewhere, and I drop those off, and I bring two back, and that pretty much sums up my day in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Well, you did have a bit of a long night last night, so I do appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. Where are you generally located at right now?
I'm in the Birmingham area right now, and down in Alabama.
Awesome, man. And so you're driving a truck, you're driving trailers, double, which kudos to you. I don't even have a clue how to begin driving two of those at once. But what do you like to do? What are some of your hobbies?
Some of my hobbies are the music. That's
Yeah.
my hobby. And I mean, on a day-to-day basis, I get to spend time with my kids and laugh and play with them and just see them grow. I mean, it's kind of fascinating watching them go from, just being able to walk to coming up to you and saying something that you had no idea that they would know about, you know. And they may use a big word from something they saw on TV, and you know, your 4-year-old comes up to you and you say, "Hey, something," and they go, "That's very interesting," and it's like, when did you learn how to put that in context? But yeah, it's there's something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, music, and my kids. Yes.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And it's really neat, right now, well, you had a night run last night. It's not always the case, but really looking forward to spending time with your kids is, I know, a big thing to you. So how did you end up deciding to become a trader, and just kind of talk a little bit about your process from what you were doing to kind of some of your thoughts moving forward, becoming a trader?
Okay, well, I would say it started when I didn't finish school. And I ended up, I was teaching music for a while, and I didn't quite have enough students so I could pay the bills and everything. So I took a custodian job at a school, and life kind of was happening, and I couldn't really get back into school at the time because I couldn't afford it. And so from there, I just was kind of thinking like, well, what could I do to kind of get into a decent financial situation? I ended up meeting my wife, and we got to a point where, because I was in Huntsville at the time, and she was like, well, it's about that time. If we're really gonna make this work, we need to be in the same city. So I said, okay, moved down, thought I had another custodian job. Turns out I didn't. And so I was down here without a job, and I'm like, okay, need to be making money. I got on at FedEx, worked my way up from working at dock to driving trucks. And I was working there, and I had a conscious decision to where I wanted to kind of shoot, kind of aim high. Because at the time, for me, like having a job that paid 100,000 a year was just totally out of the realm of my mind. But I felt like, well, let me shoot for it, see what happens. And I actually end up getting to that point, and I felt like, okay, well, why stop there? Because you know, what may seem like a lot may not seem like a lot once you kind of get in that ballpark and stuff like that. You get you don't bring your whole check home when you're working for a company. You got all these other side things, and you look at your check and say, this is not as much as what I thought I would bring home and stuff like that. So I said, well, this is nice. The money's nice, but it's rough as far as the time and how you getting kind of pulled and pushed based on what the company needs. And that's something that, as grateful as I am to be working and making the money that I make, that's something that I would like to change about my situation, to where a company's just saying, hey, you're going out at 9 o'clock tonight. And I'm like, okay. Then the next day they say, well, hey, you going out at 7 in the morning. And it's like, okay. Well, then the next day they say, hey, you going out at 6:15 tonight. And it's like, man, I would like to be in a situation where I can do more of what I want. And so I started looking, and what was cool about the situation was that I could kind of look around without having to sacrifice like what I could do for my family. And so I figured, okay, what can I do while I'm in a position to provide for my family and kind of explore other options at the same time? And I saw stuff about day trading and options and the stock market and stuff, man. It was something that stuck with me, where a guy was saying, okay, the pandemic hit and everybody's going broke, but billionaires just made hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, they made a killing during the pandemic while everybody else was like losing its money. And you see the stock market going down, but you hear that these guys, they made money. And I'm asking myself, how did they make money? And it went back to the stock market, and somebody said, well, these guys are going to make money whether the stock market goes up or down. And it caught my interest. And I started kind of exploring that and exploring the different ways that people made money off the stock market. And I looked at day trading, and it was interesting, but I kept hearing stuff about guys that like, they made a big amount, they lost a big amount. And I said, well, that's nice. That's really risky. I wouldn't want to do that per se, like go out there and put it all on the line and maybe lose that whole amount just as fast as I made it. And so I was looking around, and I see all these different methods that they're using and stuff like that. But I came across on Udemy, however it's pronounced, but 10% in 10 minutes. And I looked at it and I said, this looks like a gimmick, but it kind of caught my interest because it wasn't the you want to make $20,000 in 1 month, $30,000 in 1 month, and 2 weeks of training, and you out there and you making 6 figures, because that was totally unrealistic. But I'm like, 10% in 10 minutes, that sounds realistic. And so I looked through the I think it was like a 5-minute clip or something like that, and I was like, wow, this kind of makes sense. And I particularly like the way he kind of delivered on things, because it wasn't like he was trying to sell me something. It wasn't this. You know how motivational speakers do. They get in front of people like, hey, and they use this voice, and they get you excited, and they want you to go, yes, and all that stuff. It was just like, hey, you use your common sense, and you don't get greedy, we can get a little bit off the stock market. And we keep adding that up, eventually we'll get a lot. That makes sense to me, and so it just really resonated with me, because I saw other videos, and it just, I really can't explain it, but I got drawn back into it. And then I bought the course, and it just, I don't know, I always felt like something that I was meant to do would make sense. And that's what it boiled down to. It made good sense. I felt like it was really responsible, not getting out there and throwing all of your money into into these trades because, you know, it's risk out there. And I'm learning that through the software. Like, you know, this trade like a sure thing and it went red, you know, but minimizing that risk and all this stuff, like it just made sense.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. You know, really what I kind of took from your story is you just improved your situation one step at a time, and you're not stopping. You know, going from the custodial job to the docks. I remember you talking to me a little bit about the apprehension to driving a truck a little bit, but once you got in there and you got the schooling, you're like, okay, I got this, and now you're pulling 2 trailers, which is awesome. And then, oh, let's not stop there. And so that idea of self-improvement and cultivating this self-reliance that you're doing is awesome, and it's really cool to see. And on top of that, you used common sense. You were looking at this other stuff and looking for opportunities and found something that made sense to you, that wasn't trying to you know, necessarily pull the wool over your eyes. That's Alan there in the videos, and he's one of the architects behind the software, and a super genius with a heart of gold. And you know, it resonated with you. So that's really cool. And you're willing to jump into a new realm, not just, you know, you kind of have the finances, you know, kind of figured out with your current work, but you're realizing that you can attain a new lifestyle and get
Right.
that consistency and that stability with family. And you hit on 100% why I became a full-time trader. Was I was in the same situation, you know, varied schedules, all that kind of stuff. And man,
Right.
some consistency and stability and being able to spend time with the kids is second to none. It is a very important motivating factor for myself, and I know for you as well.